Hello and welcome to another review of an English guy watching wrestling. I am the English guy, I'm Nick. Thank you so much for clicking on another video, and we're going to be reviewing today the second of the second of February edition 2021 of Impact Wrestling. So that being said, let's get on with the review. Opening match was Tasha Steelz versus Havoc. Now, of course, Tasha Steelz is one half of the Knockout Tag Team Champions, and in the final of the Knockout Championship Tag Team Tournament, Tasha Steelz and Kira Hogan beat Nevaeh and Jessica Havoc. And of course, in the future, we are going to see, I think, a continuation of Jessica Havoc and Nevaeh versus Tasha Steelz and Kira Hogan. I think next week we might even see maybe Nevaeh versus Kira Hogan. You never know. But this was actually a very good match to open the card with. And there's one thing about the Knockouts division is it's always great to watch. This was no different. Tasha Steelz is a very good wrestler. I think she's underrated, and she really held her own against a veteran like Jessica Havoc. And Jessica was great in this match too. I mean, I've always liked watching her in the ring, but this one she used her movement and her size advantage to her advantage, so to speak. And it was actually a good opener to a very, very good show overall. And this is, a feud I'm really enjoying, and I want to see it continue. Jessica Havoc picked up the win. I'm sorry, right? In actually a very good match to again continue what is a really good division to watch, the Knockouts division. So thumbs up to both ladies. Well done. Next match was Madman Fulton versus Josh Alexander. Now, it's really good to see Josh Alexander, in all seriousness, getting a singles run at the moment in Impact Wrestling. Even though he did have a tag match last week, it's great to see him in this kind of environment because obviously part of the North, one of the best tag teams in Impact Wrestling history. Those who know just how good they were and how amazing they were. Josh Alexander, I've seen him wrestle on his own before, could go. He's the Canadian strong style king for a reason. And against Madman Fulton, this was a good match too, and I think the right match for Josh Alexander to have. Madman Fulton is not a small guy by any stretch of imagining. He's a big guy. But Josh Alexander got the double underhook pile driver for the win, made it look easy. And that's not a small thing to do, and that's not anything against Madman Fulton, but he made it look easy. I thought, how? But again, it's Josh Alexander. But overall, I really did enjoy this match. Good. Not the longest match in the card, but still a good match. That was the right match to have. And obviously, after the continuation, a little bit of Matt Cardona, Josh Alexander, Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, kind of tying in with each other. But Matt Cardona was there this week. They said Eddie Edwards is going to probably be tagging with him to face Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. So interesting to see how it's all going to play out. I mean, whether it's Josh Alexander's continuing singles run, we'll keep our eyes out. Simple as that. But a fun little match. Next match was, in all seriousness, one of my favourite wrestlers to watch in all of Impact Wrestling, Crazy Steve, because of just his character, versus Larry D. And in all seriousness, this was a very surprising match, but in a good way, because one thing I do like about Larry D is obviously part of Triple XL, is for a guy his size, he can move, and I mean move. And he didn't really do it in this matchup, but he used his movement and his weight advantage, like Jessica Havoc did to his advantage. And a good short match actually, and surprisingly, Larry D picked up the win. I was half expecting Crazy Steve to pick up the win, considering the momentum they've got right now. And obviously, it's great to see Decay back, but a surprising win for Larry D in a good short match. And Crazy Steve shown a bit more offense than he usually does, even though he lost the match. Still good showing from him as well. So, interesting match, but a good match to say the least. Next match was, in a weird, roundabout way, my match of the night. It wasn't a Stone Cold Classic wrestling match, but boy did it really show something different. Jordan Grace versus Susan. Now, of course, Susan, as you know, is Su Yung. Let's not in a different character. Let's just put it out there. But obviously, with the whole thing that James Mitchell did with Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly saying, "Can James Mitchell, can you please, get rid of Su Yung?" It didn't turn into her other character, Susie. It turned into Susan, wearing a business suit, And I'm just absolutely loving what they're doing with Su Yung at the minute, and that now she's now Susan. This matchup was just a testament to what wrestling can be when you're a different character and a completely different style. Su Yung, of course, a veteran in the business. She's been around for a while. When she's playing Susan, she made it look like she'd never been in the wrestling ring before. And I just loved the work rate from both women in this match. Obviously, Jordan Grace, long tenured veteran. Why is that long tenured veteran? Well, not that long, but veteran by this time, I'll say. But this worked so well, and it was a brilliant performance from Susan. Just like the fact that she's so good at whatever she puts her mind in terms of character work, in terms of in-ring work, it works, full stop. And she's so good at it. And this was no different. I was just thought, yeah, okay, this is how it's done, and I really liked it. And this was actually a good tag match. So good short tag, good match, and a return of an Impact Knockout favourite, ODB, after the match. And this was a match that really told a very unique character story. But that's what I love. Sometimes you want things like this in wrestling, and it was so good. I just couldn't help but absolutely love it. So perhaps my match of the night, but not for the reasons as a Stone Cold Classic Wrestling match. But in terms of what the character work is, the way that Su Yung did it, and the way obviously Jordan Grace, veteran by now, everyone knows who Jordan Grace is, does a great job. This was so much fun, and definitely something different, and something I want to continue to see, to be honest, completely honest, because it's so good. Anyway, next match was Rohit Raju versus TJP, and if Rohit Raju was to get the win in this match, it was a non-title match for the X Division Championship, he will get a shot at TJP's X Division Championship. Now, of course, a little while back, Rohit Raju lost the title to Manik, and those who know, Manik is TJP but in a mask. So, of course, by now, they kind of let the cat out of the bag in the storyline sense that it is TJP. So basically, TJP versus Rohit Raju. Rohit got the win in a very unique style because of the return of, I can never get his name right, I'll try and pronounce it, Mahalabali, Mahalabali Shira. If I'm mispronouncing it, I do apologise. But the return of him, of course, he was once part of the same faction, the Desert Hit Squad, as Rohit Raju. But he came back, helped Rohit Raju pick up the win. So it's good to see Rohit Raju get another shot at the X Division Championship, because he's probably my favourite wrestler in the X Division. I love his work in the ring. Great wrestler, great character, and it's really cool, no joke, to see someone like him do what he does in the X Division. It's so entertaining. But this was a good match, actually. As I said, not TJP's best match, in all seriousness. That's no knock on him, because he can still wrestle. Rohit Raju was, again, very good to watch. Good match. Unique ending. I did not expect him to see him back. But, of course, Shera came back, helped out Rohit. So, of course, a little future possible reunion of the Desi Hit Squad. So it's interesting seeing how that plays out. So, good match. Well done. And main event was Moose and Chris Bay versus Rich Swann and Tommy Dreamer. Now, for those who've been watching Impact know that Rich Swann challenged Tommy Dreamer to a match on February 13th at the next Impact pay-per-view, because it's Tommy Dreamer's 50th birthday. And of course, Tommy Dreamer has helped out a lot of people in the business, including Rich Swann, which is kind of like a respect thing. And Tommy Dreamer said he's not 100% in the match, but before the match started, it was a little promo with him and Rich Swann. And basically, Rich said, I know you're not 100%, I want you 100% at the pay-per-view. Leave it most to me. And it kind of got under Tommy's skin a little bit. I'm maybe not 100%, but that doesn't stop him. And those who know Tommy Dreamer, he doesn't care if he's 100%, he will still go. That's Tommy Dreamer, that's who he is. And that's the perseverance that's made him Tommy Dreamer. So, yeah, I thought to myself, a little bit disrespectful, but at the same time, I can understand it builds up for the pay-per-view match. And against, obviously, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Moose and Chris Bay. And this was a good main event. I've really told more of a story in this matchup, because I honestly think at some point it will be Rich Swann versus Moose. Now, I think maybe they're either going to unify the championships or one of them's going to be double champion. I think if Moose wins, he's going to be a double champion because he doesn't want to unify the titles. If Rich Swann wins, he'll want to unify the titles. No more TNA World Heavyweight Championship because I'm sure it's one of those things that he's sick of Moose carrying around with him. But that kind of told a little bit of the story in this match with Moose actually getting the. No, it wasn't Moose who got the win, sorry. Basically, Moose holding both championships up after the match. I still think, and this is my opinion, that Rich Swann will beat Tommy Dreamer at the next pay-per-view. But it's cool to see the story build up a little bit. Obviously, I don't think Moose is going to be involved in a triple threat match for those two. It wouldn't make sense. But, of course, Chris Bay also kind of chasing the World Heavyweight Championship at this point. So the whole build-up. So maybe a fatal four-way down the line. Who knows? But the World Championship title picture is going to be interesting to see what happens, especially with 2 titles on line. And it's just, as much as Moose is as good as he is as a heel, sorry, I kind of really like him. And he proved that he's such a good heel, but he won't let go of that title. It's one of those things you don't really say, an old title, so to speak. So it's kind of cool to see that continuing, and with him holding up both belts. Is that cool for the future? Who knows? We'll find out on February 13th. Anyway, that is it for this review. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. So until then, everyone, take care.